Sounds good, Kristen. 6:02 driving conditions could be especially dicey this morning in the East Mountains after snow fell on and off all night.
But it won't only be the snow, the wind. It's picked up this morning as well. News 13's Catherine Mazzone made the dangerous drive out to Cedar Hill with the very latest out there. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Crystal. Now, the snow has died down a bit, but the winds, they're still pretty brutal out here. It's very cold, and we've been watching the traffic pick up on I-40, noticing that a lot of cars are going a bit slower than we normally see. Now, that's not necessarily because of bad conditions as far as ice or anything. That's because of blowing snow, making it difficult to see. Now, take a look at this video that we got overnight. Now, it's very evident the winds were howling and snow was falling. It started rather at about 7. The roads on the interstate and Route 66 are still clear, as a lot of the snow is just blowing around on top of the road. It's making for some difficult driving conditions when it comes to being able to see where the lanes are. Some drivers we spoke to say, although it may not look like past storms, you still have to be careful.
Cars in the ditch. People just ain't aware that black ice is everywhere.
I've seen a couple wrecks where it looked like it was just people not going, good for this conditions.
Now, as the storm continues to move through the state, that visibility and those conditions are likely to only get worse. So a word of advice, keep it safe out there. And again, as we mentioned earlier in the newscast, APS East Mountain schools are on a 2-hour delay. Back to you.
Catherine, thank you. With all of the snow and ice in places across the state, you may want to give yourself some extra drive time, especially if you're heading up to the northern, northeast, and eastern parts of the state. Here's a look at the current road conditions from nmroads.com. Those areas are experiencing difficult driving conditions. We're going to keep you posted on all that. Just know that crews are out maybe getting roads clearer this morning. You will want to take it easy despite their efforts.
The winds and even snow flurries making their way through the metro this morning. It started yesterday here in Albuquerque. People dealt with wind gusts of up to 50 miles per hour in some areas. We're seeing a return of the sweaters and gloves, a drastic drop in temps, and brutal winds caught some off guard.
Walking up to the hospital, the winds, it's a little hard to walk into the wind.
I can't believe that it's as cold as it is.
I'm originally from Fargo, North Dakota, but that's why we're from there, and this kind of reminds me of being back home.
Yeah, the west side saw most of the snow flurries from the latest storm. This is video from early yesterday. There's more flurries coming down this morning there.
We love to see what's happening with the weather in your area and help us tell the weather story throughout New Mexico all morning long. You can send your photos to report it at KRQE.com.
And all that snow is making for some happy skiers this morning. A lot of ski resorts seeing some snow.
As the storm continues to sweep across New Mexico, remember to stay with KRQE News 13 this morning. We'll have the latest forecast, school closures, delays throughout the day, online at KRQE.com and also on the bottom of your screen.
And new this morning, state police believe icy roads may have caused a deadly car crash over the weekend. It happened yesterday morning around 10 near Highway 285 just north of Roswell. According to state police, the driver of a Ford pickup was heading north when it hit a portion of ice on the road. The truck then crossed the median into oncoming traffic before rolling. An 8-year-old child was ejected. He died on scene. 2 other occupants were also injured. The crash is still under investigation this morning.
Happening today, Santa Fe City Councilors are asking for your input on a new proposed ban on miniature bottles of alcohol. They're holding a public meeting to discuss that proposal on a citywide ban on any single-serve bottle, 8 ounces or less. The goal is to combat litter. Taos has a similar proposal on the table right now. Today's meeting is at City Hall. That's this evening at 5 o'clock. 6:06, and we're following the latest on a bill that would ban kids from buying e-cigarettes. That proposal has now passed the House. State reps unanimously approved the bill on Friday. Right now, almost 40 states keep minors from buying e-cigarettes, but New Mexico is not one of them. The proposal now heads to the Senate.
The state's health insurance exchange says almost 52,000 New Mexicans signed up for coverage using the healthcare website. Officials say it includes people who selected new plans and those who were automatically re-enrolled. If you have not signed up for health insurance yet, you will still have a chance to avoid a tax penalty next year. The Obama administration announced Friday there will be a special enrollment period from March 15th through the end of April. All of Hollywood was aglow last night for the 87th Academy Awards.
Yeah, the best and brightest were honored with Oscars. Eddie Redmayne, Julianne Moore, Patricia Arquette, they're among the night's biggest winners. John Legend and Common took home an Oscar for original song Glory for the hit film Selma. The biggest award of the night, Best Picture, went to the film Birdman starring Michael Keaton. You seen that one?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either.
I've heard a lot
Just
of people
thinking
like
the other
it.
day.
Yeah, we need to hop on that.
All right. Listen to this. A teen driver in Chicago is recovering after crashing his car.
But it's what happened next that has the story going viral this morning. News crews arrived on scene just moments after it happened. Good Samaritans, complete strangers that is, rushed to pull the 17-year-old from the burning vehicle just moments before it exploded. The teen driver has non-life-threatening injuries. Police are now investigating what caused that crash. Can you believe that?
No close shave there. In just days,
And driving conditions could be especially dicey in the East Mountains after snow fell on and off all night. But we're not only talking about the snow, we're talking about the winds.
Yeah, News 13's Catherine Mazzone's live near Cedillo Hill with a look at what she saw on her drive there. I bet it's the wind that's tough to deal with this morning.
You know what, Adam, you're absolutely right. Now, the snow has stopped, temporarily at least, but take a look at the ground. I don't know if you can see around me, but there is quite a bit of snow on the ground. And you know what that means? Mix that with the wind and you get blowing snow, which means decreased visibility out there. And that's really our biggest problem this morning. Now, take a look at this video from overnight. The winds were howling and snow was falling since about 7. The roads on the interstate and Route 66 are still clear, as a lot of that snow is just blowing around on the top of the ground. But it is, however, making for somewhat of a difficult drive, being able to see where the lanes are. Some drivers we spoke to say, although it may not look like past storms, you still have to be careful.
Actually, I cannot see in the freeway.
Now it's sliding around. Coming in right here, actually, I slid a little bit.
Cars in the ditch. People just ain't aware that black ice is everywhere.
I've seen a couple wrecks where it looked like it was just people not going, good for the conditions.
Now, as this storm moves through the state, those conditions are probably going to get worse before they get better. So our best advice is to take it a little bit slower this morning. And as a reminder, all APS East Mountain schools are on a 2-hour delay this morning. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Catherine. And with all of the snow and ice, you may want to give yourself some extra drive time this morning. Here's a look at the current road conditions from nmroads.com. As you can see, most of the state is under difficult driving conditions, especially the northeast portions of the state. Crews are possibly out there making sure the roads are clear. However, you want to give yourself extra drive time this morning as you head out onto the roadways.
And it is actually still snowing in parts in and around Santa Fe this morning. Yesterday's snow flurries made for a beautiful sight, but a very cold day. People were forced to bundle up and rush to get out of the cold. You can expect, as Kristen's reporting, more snow flurries throughout the day.
And of course, you've been sending us photos of what it looks like in your neck of the woods. In Durango, Jim Bundy sent us this snowy scene from just outside his door. Tony Clark gave us a look at how some of the plant life near the Four Corners has been bearing the weight of all that snow. And it wasn't any easier on the trees in Red River. Sarah McNellen snapped this shot there. Up in Chama, Roger sent us this shot of just how deep all of that snow got there. Raton, yeah, really got hit hard, as you can see in this pair of pictures. Thanks to Dexter and Robin for sending these in. Brandon Hightree of Raton sent us in this shot of a buck posing for the camera right in the middle of this storm. And finally, check out this picture sent in from Jim Hunter of Raton. He tells us 6 inches of snow fell across his front porch, creating a beautiful sight there. And we love to see the weather in your area. Help us tell the weather story throughout New Mexico all morning long. Send your photos to reportit@krqe.com.
And we are, of course, staying on top of the blast of winter weather with updates on air and online, krqe.com. Catherine mentioned that APS East Mountain schools are on a 2-hour delay. This morning, we're tracking about 9 or 10 other closings and delays, too. Those are scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and they will continue through the commercial breaks, too.
You've probably felt it. Roads across New Mexico are in bad shape, and now there's proof. According to the Santa Fe New Mexican, just recently the State Department of Transportation outlined the problem spots during a legislative committee, and the findings show that Some roads are worse condition than previously thought. According to the report, nearly 6,000 miles need anywhere from minor repairs to reconstruction. Some even lack structural integrity. You may be thinking that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but the problem is the budget to fix it is shrinking. New Mexico's total outstanding debt for infrastructure projects is now at $2 billion. The issue was mentioned during the governor's State of the State as she told lawmakers to funnel more money into the fund for the next 5 years. Some lawmakers are calling for higher taxes on gas, though, to shore up that fund.
6:38 in developing this morning. People in part of Albuquerque are being asked to conserve water right now while a major pipeline is repaired. The Albuquerque-Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority says the request affects people living east of Eubank, south of I-40 through Thursday morning. The Water Authority plans to shut down a pipeline to make repairs, and customers will get their water from a pair of reservoirs. To make sure that water lasts, they're asking people to turn off their sprinkler systems, wash their cars somewhere else, and to only use as much water as is necessary. The parents of slain American aid worker Kayla Mueller are now slamming the U.S. policy of no ransom.
In a recent interview, the parents took aim at the government, saying the White House put policy in front of, quote, American lives. Just a few weeks ago, President Obama spoke about a failed mission to rescue Mueller and several others. Mueller, who was captured back in August, was killed in January during a coalition airstrike.
And talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, 2 people were hurt after falling through a sinkhole. It happened at a train station in South Korea. Surveillance video captured these people getting off the train. Look at that. Falling right through the floor only seconds later. 2 people were hurt, but they're expected to be okay. They were taken to a nearby hospital and then released. Should you be fined